What if I told you that one simple falling apple helped change the way we understand the entire universe? Imagine sitting quietly under a tree. An apple falls to the ground. Most people would pick it up and eat it. But one young man asked a question that no one else had ever asked. Why did the apple fall straight down instead of floating into the sky? That simple question led to one of the greatest scientific discoveries in human history. This is the incredible true story of Isaac Newton, the quiet boy who turned curiosity into genius and changed the world forever. Isaac Newton and the falling apple. Isaac Newton was born on January 4, 1643, in the small village of Woolsthorpe, England. His arrival into the world was anything but ordinary. He was born very early and was so tiny that many people believed he would not survive. His mother later said he was small enough to fit inside a large drinking mug. No one imagined that this fragile baby would one day become one of the greatest scientists who ever lived. When Isaac was only 3 years old, his mother remarried and moved away, leaving him in the care of his grandmother. For a young child, it was a painful experience. He often felt lonely. Instead of playing with large groups of children, Isaac spent much of his time by himself. Yet that loneliness became an unexpected gift. It gave him time to observe, to think, to imagine. He watched birds flying across the sky. He studied the wind moving through trees. He examined insects, flowers, and flowing streams. Even as a child, Isaac noticed details that others ignored. His curiosity quietly grew stronger every day. A boy who loved building things. Isaac enjoyed making objects with his own hands. He built tiny windmills that actually turned in the breeze. He created water clocks to measure time. He designed small mechanical toys. He even built paper kites with lanterns attached to them, making people believe mysterious lights were flying through the night sky. The villagers were amazed. Some laughed. Others admired his creativity. Isaac wasn't trying to impress anyone. He simply loved understanding how things worked. Whenever something moved, he wanted to know why. Whenever something broke, he wanted to fix it. Whenever he saw a problem, he searched for an answer. That habit would stay with him for the rest of his life. School was not easy. At first, Isaac was not considered the best student. He was quiet and shy. He rarely spoke in class. Some classmates teased him. One day, another student bullied him. Instead of fighting back with his fists, Isaac made a different decision. He would prove himself through hard work. He began studying longer than anyone else. He read every book he could find. He solved mathematical problems late into the night. Within months, the quiet boy who had once been overlooked became one of the best students in school. Isaac had learned an important lesson. Success is often the best response to doubt. Cambridge University. As Isaac grew older, his remarkable ability became impossible to ignore. He earned a place at Trinity College, Cambridge, one of England's most respected universities. There he studied mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, and natural science. Many professors still relied on ancient ideas that had existed for centuries. But Isaac wasn't satisfied with simply accepting old explanations. He wanted evidence. He wanted logic. He wanted proof. He read the works of Galileo and Johannes Kepler. He admired how they used observation instead of assumptions. Slowly, Isaac began developing ideas of his own. The Great Plague changes everything. In 1665, a deadly plague swept across England. Thousands of people lost their lives. Cambridge University closed its doors to protect students. Isaac returned to his family home in Woolsthorpe. Many people viewed those months as a terrible interruption. For Isaac, they became the most productive years of his life. Without lectures or examinations, he had complete freedom to think. He spent long days reading, experimenting, calculating, and observing nature. History would later call this period his year of wonders. The falling apple. One afternoon, Isaac sat quietly in the garden. Nearby stood an apple tree. As he reflected on mathematical problems, an apple fell from a branch. The apple dropped straight toward the ground. Most people would have ignored the moment. Isaac did not. Instead, he asked a question that would change science forever. Why does the apple always fall downward? Why not sideways? Why not upward? Why not in another direction? Something invisible had to be pulling the apple toward Earth. If that invisible force could pull an apple, could it also pull the moon? Could the same force keep planets moving around the sun? The idea seemed extraordinary. Isaac spent years testing and refining it. Eventually, he described the force we now call gravity. The famous apple didn't instantly create the theory. It inspired the question. And questions are where every great discovery begins. Discovering the laws of motion. Isaac's curiosity extended far beyond gravity. He wanted to understand movement itself. Why do objects begin moving? Why do they stop? What makes them speed up? After years of careful thought and experimentation, he introduced 3 laws of motion. The first explained that an object remains at rest or continues moving in a straight line unless acted upon by another force. The second described how force, mass, and acceleration are connected. The third became one of the most famous scientific principles ever written. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. These laws still guide engineers today. They help us understand cars, airplanes, rockets, sports, and countless everyday activities. Unlocking the secrets of light. Isaac's curiosity also focused on light. Many people believed white light was pure. Isaac wasn't convinced. He darkened a room and allowed sunlight to pass through a glass prism. A beautiful rainbow appeared. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. The prism hadn't created the colors. They had been hidden inside the white light all along. Isaac proved that white light is actually made of many different colors. It was another revolutionary discovery. His experiments transformed the science of optics. Inventing a better telescope. Astronomers admired telescopes. But existing telescopes had problems. Images often appeared blurry because lenses bent different colors of light in different ways. Isaac searched for a solution. Instead of relying mainly on lenses, he designed a telescope using mirrors. The result was smaller, sharper, and more powerful. Today, many of the world's largest observatories still use versions of the reflecting telescope he invented. His design opened new windows to the universe. A book that changed science forever. In 1687, Isaac published one of the most important books ever written. Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, commonly called the Principia. The book explained gravity, the laws of motion, planetary movement, mathematics. It united the heavens and the earth under the same natural laws. For the first time, people realized that the same force causing an apple to fall also guided the moon around Earth and the planets around the sun. Scientists across Europe were astonished. The book became the foundation of classical physics. Even centuries later, it remains one of history's greatest scientific achievements. Fame and responsibility. Isaac Newton's discoveries brought him international recognition. He became a professor at Cambridge. Later, he served as Master of the Royal Mint, where he helped improve England's currency and fought against counterfeiters. He also became President of the Royal Society, Britain's leading scientific organization. Despite his fame, Isaac remained deeply committed to learning. He believed there was always more to discover. Humility of a genius. People praised Newton as a genius. He responded with remarkable humility. One of his most famous statements reveals his character. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. He understood that every discovery builds upon the work of others. Near the end of his life, he offered another unforgettable reflection. I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore, while the great ocean of truth lay undiscovered before me. Even after changing science forever, he believed there was still infinitely more to learn. A legacy that lives on. Isaac Newton passed away in 1727 at the age of 84. He was buried in Westminster Abbey, an honor reserved for Britain's greatest figures. But his ideas never disappeared. Every satellite launched into space. Every bridge designed by engineers. Every spacecraft traveling to distant planets. Every physics classroom. Every rocket leaving Earth. All rely, in some way, on Newton's discoveries. His work laid the foundation for modern science. Even Albert Einstein, who later expanded our understanding of gravity, deeply respected Newton's achievements. Final message. Isaac Newton's story teaches us that greatness doesn't always begin with extraordinary circumstances. It can begin with a quiet child. A lonely afternoon. A simple question. An ordinary apple. The difference wasn't the apple. Millions of apples had fallen before. The difference was the mind that asked why. Newton showed us that curiosity is one of humanity's greatest powers. He proved that every discovery begins with observation. Every invention begins with imagination. Every breakthrough begins with a question. The next time you see something ordinary, A falling leaf. A rainbow. The stars above. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, why? Because somewhere inside that simple question, may be the next discovery that changes the world. The end.